I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to break free from the matrix of who you think you are and become who you actually are, like who you actually are. I do believe that this is going to be one of the most important videos that you ever watch in your life, so I do encourage you to stick until the very end of this video, because this could be the exact thing you need to break through, to see results, to stop stagnating, and to level up into who you want to be. So I do encourage you to stick until the very end. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. I do have extremely limited spots available for coaching, so if you do want to be part of my coaching program that just launched, be sure to apply as soon as possible. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to break free from the matrix of who you think you are and become who you actually are is to, number one, remove "this is just who I am" from your vocabulary. Like, this is just how I am. This is how it's always been. Like, oh, I'm just always a clumsy person. That's just how I've always been, right? That's just who I am. Or like, oh, I don't make a lot of money in my life. That's just who I am. Now, there's nothing actually wrong with saying that's just who I am if you're consciously programming yourself to be some sort of way. That's the exception that I just wanted to share with you right now. Like, obviously, if you're like trying to, program yourself to be abundant and have money, and you're like, oh, it's just who I am, like I just always have, amazing things happen to me, right? Of course, in that way, I would encourage you to even test that and play with that if that resonates for you, right? I like to do that sometimes. But never like use "this is who I am" from a place of like not creating what you want and believing like, oh, this is just who I am and I can't create that because, well, that's not me. Like, oh, I can't have this person because that person's out of my league. Why? Based on what? You can become a person that is in that person's league, like whatever that means to you, whether it's a business partner, whether it's a romantic relationship. Like, it doesn't really matter like what it is ultimately. What matters is, are you actually resonating to go in that direction, and do you trust yourself to go become what it is that you need to become in order to manifest that thing, right? Like, if you want to manifest something, become that, embody that in your energy field until it's so, you have such a powerful momentum and such a powerful magnetic energy that you just attract like the exact same reflection, and it's like you're just both creating, right? And if there's something that they want and there's something that you want, you can actually work together and become what you need for each other to actually manifest each other's dream reality. And this is the opposite of manipulation. This is actually what you call conscious creation, conscious co-creation, where two people are more consciously agreeing to create a reality together. That's a whole other video. That's a whole thing that I need to record. I need to record a course on that. Like, I need to record an entire course on that. Like, I need to record I have a whole list of courses that I need to do because there's just so many courses that I need to record. But the truth is that actually you need to remove "this is just who I am" from your vocabulary if you want to become something powerful, if you want to transform yourself continually, if you want to become who you really want to be. Just remove that from your vocabulary, because it's not serving you. It's not who you really are. It's not like you are not defined. What an irony that I just said that, because like who you really are is definitely not a person that "this is just what I am," whatever that is to you. Does that make sense? Who you actually are, let me just remind you real fast, who you really are. You are consciousness, and you are a shapeshifter, and you shapeshift yourself and you adapt based on the choices that you make. And that is your true nature. You're adapting based on the choices that you make and who you choose to become next in your life. So if you choose to be a confident person, "I'm just a shy person" no longer is actually who you really are. Right? You believe that that was who you are because it was protecting you, it was serving you, until it stopped protecting you and serving you. And that identity was actually harming you. And you're like, whoa, I need to let that go and choose to become something different, and you always have this power. So I'm just inviting you to remember that simply you are not defined by one identity, and that you are actually more of a conscious shapeshifter than you might think if you allow yourself to be so. Okay, and that's how you break free from who you think you are. Who you think you are is who you say you are, which leads me to the second point in this video, which is who you actually are is who you say you are. That's who you are. If you're saying that you're a confident person and you start telling people that you're confident, you become a confident person. It is a little bit of like fake it till you make it, but it's like at some point there's no difference anymore between faking it or being it. Like if you're saying you're confident and you emit a certain energy field when you're saying that, and it like becomes a part of your field, at some point you just are it. It's no longer something you're working towards. You've become it successfully. And so this is why authenticity is a very interesting topic, because actually authenticity, I believe, is completely backwards in society right now. I believe what we think is authentic is not authentic. I think that we've actually turned people pleasing and energy leeching, people energy leeching from each other as normal. Like, oh, this is just normal, and that's authentic. Like, oh, I'm just being myself. You're not being yourself. Who you really are has strong boundaries, knows your values, you know where you're going, and you have a sense of clarity in terms of the type of person that you are, right? You're not swayed by the external world. And actually, that's your true nature, is to be grounded in some sort of identity and know who you are, because simply that is who you choose to be in that moment. I think we've disconnected from this in society. I think that we've actually forgotten our true sovereignty and our power in terms of the way that we show up in the world, and realizing that who we say we are, we become. And this is a very interesting topic, because at some point you start to wonder, like, well, wait a second, like, what is even authenticity? Because like I can change into this and I can change into that. And if a person needs me to like show up in a certain way for that person, and they need something, and I'm willing to play that in that moment, and like, you know, be like a friend for that person in that particular moment, or whatever needs to come through to help that person, it's like I can be that, right? Like if I need to, for example, if what wants to come through my consciousness in one moment is like, you know, a really like vulnerable, you know, version of myself, like I'm so vulnerable and I'm really vulnerable right now. Let's just say, for example, on that a vulnerability wants to come through, like the identity of Francis, right? Like a vulnerability. Now, it's interesting because like, do you see how if that starts to come up, like a vulnerable version of Francis, and I was to be like, oh, like I'm just not the type of person that is vulnerable or whatever, right? And that's just not who I am. It's like, it would almost like, it wouldn't allow that version of me to come through. It wouldn't allow that infinite version of me to come through. Now, the thing is, though, is that what I'm proposing to you in this video, which is what I think is just so powerful, is that you can actually be who you want to be, always be completely in alignment with your highest vision, yet at the same time, you can still be open to those alternate versions of you that align with that vision. Does that make sense? So you're on the way to your vision. You can choose to embody yourself and be free, be a shape-shifting consciousness within the container that you're still going towards what you want. So you're honoring yourself and the universe at this point in your manifestation journey. Like if this is the space you're creating from, I just want to acknowledge you wholeheartedly for getting to this point in your consciousness where you actually have now stepped into, congratulations, a state, or at least a level of awareness, because your states are always changing, where you get to go where you want to go and honor every single being in the universe simultaneously. And those are not a contradiction whatsoever. And this starts to come for you very naturally when you actually decide for yourself that who you are is who you say you are, right? Like I started telling myself that I am a committed person that shows up every single day with what I do. And I started to become that. And that's who I am. I post videos every single day, no matter what I feel, no matter what's happening. That's just who I am, right? And then like that, like, but I used to be the kind of person that like didn't show up for people. That was my past self, right? My past self was like, oh, I didn't show up for people. I don't do the things that, you know, I'm supposed to be doing, that I say I'm going to do. Now it's like, oh, that's just who I am. I'm the person that does what I say I'm going to do. And so it is. And so then I become that. And that is authentic. Right? Now, it could be seen as inauthentic from the past version of me. It's like, oh, you're just forcing something that you're not, Francis. But like, think about it. Like, what does that even mean to force something that you're not? Because you can always change yourself depending on what you resonate with in the moment and have real transformation in a certain direction where your preferences change a lot and you get to step into that new version of yourself. But then that past version of you no longer is you with that, and that's what you call a successful transformation. Really, that's a successful transformation. So understand that to break free from the matrix of who you think you are, you need to understand that who you actually say you are is who you are, and that is the case. To embody that on a consistent basis, give yourself more permission to embody what you say you are, and actually you'll become more authentic as a result. I'm gonna say that one more time to conclude that point, because I feel like maybe some people didn't get that point fully. So I'm gonna conclude this point and this aspect of the video with a specific set of words that I think will conclude it all and help you to understand it, which is that give yourself permission to say what you are and to become that and to take back your sovereignty. And ironically, you'll be more authentic who you really are than you've ever been. And that is not a coincidence. And with that, let's get to the last point in this video. Now, the third point in this video that I have for you in terms of how to break free from the matrix of who you think you are and become who you actually are is number 3, be flexible with your environment. That's what I have for you here, to be flexible with your environment. Be flexible with where you go. Like if you're going into like a new spot in nature, for example, don't insist that you're going to feel the same in that space. Let your consciousness morph into that new environment if you want to go there. Like I'm not saying to let your consciousness be flexible in environments that you don't want to be in. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you go in a certain direction that you resonate with and you make a choice to go there, be flexible to morph your consciousness how it needs to flow to go in that direction. Right? This is where we need to remove the how. You have to remove the how in terms of your manifestations in your life. The how is not your interest. Your interest is simply to go towards what you want, own that fully, and let your consciousness be flexible in that direction. And just own that powerfully moment to moment. You'd be very surprised how you become so authentic in who you really are when you become flexible like water. Like, you know that quote where it's like, be like water, be flexible? You'd be so surprised how authentic you really are, and you become who you really are versus like some set of ideas that somebody has told you you are. You know, like, let me ask you this right now. If you're embodying states of consciousness that you don't even want to be in, that somebody told you you are, is that authentic? To be something that you don't want to be? Is that authentic? To be in a state of consciousness where you're choosing to be something that you never agreed to, but I mean, you agreed to it, but you believed you had to agree to it, and it created a not enjoyable experience where now this is what you call actually people pleasing. People pleasing is nothing more than dishonoring your values and dishonoring who you really are at the core. That's what people pleasing is. And do you think that's authentic? Do you think it's authentic to people please, to dishonor your values? Of course not. And your values come from doing what you say you like to do and who you are and stepping into that area of life as like, this is who I am, this is what I care about, this is what I'm working towards. And you own that. Like you have to be in your own little reality, so to speak, like be your own vortex. Where like, look, I'm open to the ideas, but look, I'm going in this direction regardless. You know what I'm saying? That's how you become who you really are. It's like, I'm going in this direction, like I'm open to these ideas, I'm open to those ideas, but it's like, I'm going towards this. And I'm going to be flexible any way I need to go towards that direction. That's authenticity, actually, in my opinion. Or at least getting a little bit closer to actual authenticity, which, and I'll tell you one thing, if you don't resonate with that, at the very least, the claim that I'll make here is that, you know, being in a lack poverty consciousness where you're not the creator of your reality, let's just say that's not authentic whatsoever, in my opinion. I think becoming an epic creator of your reality, choosing who you say you're going to be, taking back your sovereignty, stepping into your power as a conscious creator is true authenticity, and that is a claim that I'm making. And if you start to embody this fully, you'll notice that you become who you really actually are, not who you thought you were prior to realizing this insight. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. I do have extremely limited spots available for coaching. So if you do want to be part of my coaching program that just launched, be sure to apply as soon as possible. Also, if this video was supportive for you in any way and it was helpful for you, leave a comment down below sharing your experience. I read every single comment and I would love to hear what you have to say. Like, I would love to hear it. I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say. Also, lastly, please hit that like button for me so that more people can get access to this content, because I do believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are divine creators of their reality and that they can actually manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible, actually helping themselves and others in the process as well. And hitting that like button does help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next